Russell Potter here, russellpotter.com. In this video, we're going to talk about managing older employees, or managing an employee who's older than you, and you're the younger manager, and the challenges that presents for you. So the first thing about managing older employees is, of course, socially we're told that we should respect our elders and so forth. So as the younger manager, it's often very uncomfortable to be in that position. Real or imagined. The other side of that is that very often older employees, it's not always, but older employees sometimes feel they should have got the job maybe that you have as their manager. So there's a little bit of baggage there that you have to be aware of, and it's not your fault, of course, because you were given that position, especially if you came in from the outside of the business. So of course, that's the context of these relationships. So what can you do about that? So the first thing you want to do as any new manager is not take any action until you have the complete picture. Okay, so that's going to take a little bit of time. So the first thing you want to do, your top priority is to focus on the customer and focus on organizational goals. Now, a lot of managers come in, they want to tinker. Don't tinker. There's no need to change systems that have evolved over long periods of time because they suit the environment in which the organization operates. You can't come in and start changing those things without having the complete picture, because that will very much irritate older employees, or employees that are older than you. Okay, who's this hotshot coming in telling us what to do, kind of thing. And they're bang on. Who are you to come in and tell them what to do? Okay, so the first thing to do is to give yourself some time, and that is focus on the customer need, who the customer is, and understanding who the customer is and what they need, and what actually is happening in your organization to serve customer needs at the time. The other part of this is, of course, about understanding the organizational goals, an organization's strategy. And as long as you keep referencing in every conversation customer, organizational strategy and goal, you are on the right path. Because no one can argue with that. That stuff is set in stone. This stuff is absolutely the most important things in any organization. And of course, your existing employees and your older employees are going to know a lot about those two things, especially on the customer side. No one can argue with that. So focus on those two things first of all. The next thing to focus on is understanding the environment in which you're operating. And you don't make any changes until you are an absolute expert. As expert as anybody in the department. Build up your expertise power here. As expert as anyone in the department about the market in which you operate, about the organization itself, about how the organization evolved, about why systems are like they are. They evolve into an environment, of course, about every single employee. About every single employee that you have, about what their motivators, goals, fears, worries, insecurities, history, certainly about their expertise in the role, about what they know. They know a lot if they've been working in the company for a long time. You've got to know all this stuff. It's like going to university. It's a lot of study for you, but you do need to see it like that. Because until you know that stuff, until you understand the landscape in which you're operating, you cannot go tinkering and making changes with older employees, or employees who are older than you as the younger manager, because it just simply will not cut it. They say, we tried this before, or yeah, he doesn't know what he's talking about, and they'd be right. So make sure that when you have those conversations about changing things, changing systems, which you will eventually want to do, that you are well informed, that you are completely qualified to have that conversation. That's really, really important. Don't tinker until you have the complete picture. The next thing is about keeping older employees involved in change. It's highly likely that if they've got more experience than you in the organization, they've got a lot to offer. So you can use situational leadership here. You can involve them much more in the conversation about the changes that are happening. This is what I'm proposing. How do you see this problem? Okay, well, what would you do in this situation? Well, my suggestion is that we do this. What do you think? Much more of participative conversation, much more of a coaching conversation, and it's certainly the style that you would want. One thing you can do that would set you apart as the younger manager is to be ambitious. We often associate ambition for the department here, not personal ambition, ambition for the department very clear definition there. But to be ambitious for the department and for the customer and for the people in your team. So this is something we associate with younger managers very much, and it's something that you can live up to that stereotype as the younger manager. And the last thing is to take ownership. To take ownership. Nothing will gain you more credibility and respect, which is what you're after here in a situation, than really taking ownership for the mistakes that get made, for the department's needs, for what people need in the department, for really take ownership of the customer's requirements, really take ownership. Mirror window management, don't look in the mirror when things go right and out the window when things go badly. Totally the opposite. Go and earn the credibility by giving praise to the team. Always say we, never I. And of course, taking the responsibility when things don't go according to plan. That will earn you that respect. Okay, so if you can do those things in that sequence, and you manage older employees, you've just joined a company maybe, and there's a little bit of legacy baggage there from people who didn't get the job maybe, that's really how you handle that situation. Focus on the customer, focus on the organization strategy first and foremost. Go to university, like the university of your organization, learn everything you possibly can so you're completely informed is the next thing. Don't tinker until you get to that point. Keep them involved in changes. When you do eventually make those changes, communicate a lot, be ambitious, and take ownership. So I hope that helps, and please drop us your questions. We answer them as soon as we can. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to keep a lot more content coming over the next few months about typical problems that most managers face, and that from my 20 years of experience of leadership development and talent management work, I can help you to overcome those problems. And if you really want the fast track, I suggest you go to Udemy. The course link is below, and do our certification course for leadership skills. And this will give you the full picture. It's about 3 hours of content, fully certified if you do the assignments and watch 100%. And that's really designed to get your next leadership role. So when you go for your next leadership job, you will be asked about your leadership expertise. And that course is designed to tell you everything you need to know as a leader that will get you that next job, and will give you the fast track. Okay, so hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe, as I said, like and share if you found this very useful, and keep your eye out for the content. We'll keep it coming.